Wait, do you... Okay, deal. I will take the pistachios and the cranberries. That's fine. I'll take that deal. Cody's not impressed by this. Well, you know, Cody, you need to tell Justin Trudeau to make a deal with Trump if you want the pistachios. I don't think Trudeau would touch Trump with a bow at this point. It's probably smart not to touch Trump. These tariffs, they're gonna... I guess we'll see. We'll see. They don't look like a good idea, but we'll find out soon. Trump does touch way too many things already, you're right, Wesley. But on a more serious note though, a slightly more serious note, all the tariffs really do target American agriculture. Like all the other stuff, like the steel and the aluminium and the machinery and the motorbikes and the blue jeans, like that stuff, that can just shift around. The production can just switch around the world and avoid the tariffs. But the American agriculture, like all three sides are attacking American agriculture. There's nowhere for American agriculture to go. Alright, so that's paved, that's paved. I'm not sure about this bit really, but we'll figure this out later on, I guess. Alright, let's pave this. Hey Wesley, what are you doing? Are you paving? Alright, well, I guess eventually we'll meet up. I can see lines on my map through the snow. Interesting. Q says yawn, net time over, what did I miss? You missed the cranberry investments is what you missed. Hi Q, welcome back. So I went through the whole list of all the tariffs. Any new money-making ideas? Let's see, you're in Canada. So if you are making steel and aluminium products, you should probably stop. And maybe switch to making industrial machinery. Or actually no, you have the Chinese shift their industrial machinery factories to Canada, and then you supply them with steel and aluminium, and then they'll have made in America, made in Canada industrial equipment to sell to the United States to avoid the tariffs on Chinese manufacturing machinery. Does that all make sense, Q? Like, is that all? Is that clear? And you might find American maple syrup more expensive. But since like Canada is literally filled with maple syrup anyway, I'm guessing it doesn't really matter. Q says, I'm not the smart one in this group, I'm the money man, you just tell me where to invest in. Well, okay, not American agriculture, right? Not United States farmers. But maybe European heavy industry. Oh, European cars too. China is putting tariffs on American cars, which basically means probably that they'll buy European cars and Japanese cars and maybe even Korean cars. China's also trying to get its indigenous car industry up and running too. So Wesley, if you want to, you can also build European cars and sell to China. Q says, on a serious note, we're betting against Trump winning this trade war. Well, it doesn't it doesn't look good, Q, because so on the one hand, like Trump has put tariffs on Canadian and European steel and aluminium, right? And then he's put tariffs on Chinese heavy machinery, so heavy industrial equipment. But the way I think about it is, like, the US can just then import European heavy industry equipment and then import Chinese steel and aluminium, so just kind of switch around. And so then the American economy is doesn't really benefit from these tariffs, because you just buy different things from different people and then it's the same thing as before. Because like the Europeans are pretty decent at making industrial equipment and cars and whatnot, and the Chinese are perfectly capable of making steel and aluminium products. So you just end up like swapping one supplier for another, and it doesn't actually help the American economy. Whereas China, Europe, and Canada, their tariffs look coordinated. It looks like they've talked about it and figured out how to screw the US combined. And so it doesn't look good for Trump, is what I'm thinking. Like, for example, the US is putting tariffs on paper making equipment from China, right? And then Canada is putting tariffs on American cardboard products. so the American like paper makers and cardboard makers, their equipment is more expensive and their exports are more expensive. And so all of a sudden they're getting hit from both sides. So a lot of these tariffs, like the Canadian and the Chinese ones especially, they look like they're coordinated to punish the American industry on both ends, like both the import and the export. It cuts them in. So maybe it's a coincidence, but it looks coordinated. Like it looks like a coordinated attack, which bodes poorly for Trump's trade war. And like all the tariffs that China put on the US, it's stuff that is quite clearly produced by Europe. so so basically China is saying, alright, we're not gonna buy from you anymore, we're gonna buy from Europe instead. Like saying that to the United States. So it's very well planned, the response. Although I wonder, China put tariffs on American fruit. I'm just wondering where, like what alternative supplies the Chinese have for fruit. Because Chinese people love fruit. I'm just saying as a Chinese person. Chinese love fruit. China grows enough rice to feed its own population. Not sure about fruit. Alright, Q is gonna switch to soccer. Anyone watch the footy? 2 great games this morning. So happy Argentina lost. Not a fan of Argentina, Q. I don't keep up with the World Cup, but I'm happy to hear your thoughts on them, Q. So who's still in? Are we still in the group stages? Q is born and bred English. Wesley says, yeah, not much of a football fanatic either. Q says, born and bred English, so yeah, Argentina are the bad guys ever since Maradona's hand of God. That was a while ago, Q. Like, I remember being like a very young child when that happened, Q. Just move out of the group, Portugal out, Argentina out. Man, Argentina not doing that well this time, huh? Q says I'm not a football fan either, but I do watch and enjoy World Cup. Alright, that's cool. I hope Belgium loses soon, says Wesley. Why? Oh, are the fans are the fans annoying? Football fans, European football fans especially these last two, as they are so goal heavy. Oh hey. Wesley says because I'm sick of people driving around with giant flags and footballs on their cars. They're passionate, Wesley. They're passionate about their sports. The only time you see Belgian flags out is when there's football. Otherwise they don't care. Well, you know... What if football is the only thing holding your country together, Wesley? What if that's the only thing that's keeping Belgium Belgium? Yikes. What if there was just one European Union team instead of all the national teams from Europe? Would that be different? Q says I like that idea. Nationalism is particularly obnoxious as a rule. Football nationalism is one of the more mild examples. Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking too, Q. I mean, like, basically these sports is... it's like a substitute for war, right? Like, people have this competitive streak within them. And so instead of actually killing each other, we just support soccer teams. And so we don't have to actually fight each other. So football nationalism is basically a safety valve from actual nationalism. Which is the thing I hate most about football, and this is in no way meant racist. Alright, go on. Alright, we're going there. Brace yourselves. Q says, a lot of the group games I watched, I supported the team with the nicest color scheme. Wesley says, is that a team is hardly ever with players from the actual country? Oh yeah, no, because, look, because nationalism is dead. Like you buy teammates from other lands and stuff. Yeah, no, because capitalism rules the world, not nationalism, Wesley. Right? Money rules the world. So it's fake nationalism. It's not really about one country fighting another country. And in a way, it's a good thing that, you know, all the teams are actually multicultural. Maybe we should like just stop the fake nationalism and just have completely stateless teams. Harry Kane. Like what if the teams were not national teams but just like non-geographic teams? Like they have no relationship to countries. Although we might end up with like corporate teams, which might not be a good idea. What if soccer is, instead of like Argentina versus England, it's HSBC versus ExxonMobil FA Cup? Is it better? Is it better, Q? Like, do you think it's better if the teams were non-geographic? I mean, Wesley, like it is really a sign of globalization, right? That all the teams aren't actually national teams, but they're just composed of international players.